we're at the restaurant, we're hanging out, we're talking business, we're talking about their new store and the products they're going to carry. They're going to carry Bird Down, and they're going to carry the Rugged Road coolers and all this stuff. And the waitress comes up and she's like, "What is that?" And we're like, "Well, you don't know what this is?" And she's like, "Is that like a whip or something?" They're like,
Come on in, guys. My name is Delvis, and I'm the owner and designer of High Heat Outdoors. I'm from a small town in deep South Texas. I love the outdoors, but I especially love my wife, my son Lucas, and our boy Spider. I invite you to hang out with us as we clay shoot, meet up old friends, hunt, and fish. And how can we forget that food? Man, look at those tacos. So take in those sights and enjoy our crazy adventures along with us. And who knows, you might even learn a thing or two. You'll slowly get to know who I am as a father, an artist, and a businessman. We're so happy you're here, and welcome to High Heat Outdoors. I first heard of the Dove Cord 3 years ago, and when I first laid eyes on it, I thought to myself, this thing is genius. It's so simple, so functional, so streamlined. And I thought to myself, how do you come up with stuff like this? And today we're gonna find out. We're gonna sit down with Chris Ramsey, owner, creator of the Dove Cord.
it's hard to say. Basically, I mean, the Dove Cord was created from me being overweight, flat out. I was 300 pounds, still loved to hunt in every form of fashion, but I couldn't wear the vest. It was hot. I couldn't get the belt on. I mean, you have the pouches and all that. I couldn't get those on. And sitting in chairs wearing the pouch, and you had those birds back there in the back, and I'd go to stand up and the chair was stuck to me, with the birds wrapped around it. And it was just out of necessity, really, that I was like, man, you start throwing them on the ground as you're hunting, and next thing you know, there's ants all over them. And you're like, oh, man, get a bucket, and you're tossing them in a bucket, and you can't really see what's in the bucket. And and it's like, man, all right, do I have my 15? I don't know. Now you're counting while birds are flying over, and you're like, hold on. And you're like, all right, I got 13. All right, great. We went out one time, and I know I had some paracord in the truck, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna tie it around, kind of do what duck hunters have been doing for years with their lanyard. The duck hunters have been doing this for years, but they usually use like a little slip knot on each one. And I was like, well, something like that, but I'm just gonna. And where we were hunting all the time had a barbed wire fence right behind us the whole way, and so it was pretty much just tie it around their foot, and I was hanging them over the fence line as I hunted. But it allowed me to just look over at the fence line and, oh, okay, yeah, I still got 5 more to go. I can see it right there. But then again, I had to have a fence line, and then I started going to other places. I'm like, all right, well, I don't have my fence line, so then I'm hanging them from trees. I got a mesquite tree, and I'm just kind of hanging it over a branch, and it's like, then you got all these birds hanging from a tree. I was like,
Christmas tree.
Yeah,
Ornaments.
It was my own first version of decoys, I guess. I don't know, but so, and then it just kind of, well, what if I kind of bunched it all together, and then I think I started out just by wrapping them, just wrapping a cord around it, and I think I had 16 rings or 16, pretty much knots when I started, and I was like, well, okay, but your limit's 15, so what happens if I fill it up not realizing, and and now I got 16 birds and I'm over, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I didn't, and I started noticing with the slips, this little slip knots, that they weren't staying, some of them weren't staying tied. They'd slip off, and then I'd just have a string, and then I'm in the field trying to tie it and make that knot again, and then I had some key rings, and I just kind of did that, tied it, cleaned it up, and I run it like a dog choker collar, back through the ring, and then just started kind of researching paracord braids and different types of cobra knots and this and that. And I was like, what would look the best up here on the top? And I went with the cobra, I think it's called the king cobra or something like that, and went with that knot and tied it all together. And then it was well, how do I do 15 rings? Because everything's doubled. I've got my 14. Where's my 15? And that's been something that has started very crudely and has kind of evolved to hide that 15th knot, and kind of went from there. And then it became, okay, well, how do I hang it? And well, you just get a carabiner, and in the beginning I had like the nicest carabiner there was. I think the carabiner cost me like $30, and it was like just because that's what I had, but that was my own personal, product, and hanging it and whatnot. And then I thought, well, and then I started having people. I'd be hunting. They're like, well, what is that? Where'd you get that? Oh, that's cool. Can you make me one? Yeah, I'll make you one. $20. Okay, sure. And I'd make one, and okay. About that time, I had quit working out at the Army Depot where we are, and I went into outside sales, and I was burned out, and I wanted to try something different. And my brother-in-law said, hey, my company's hiring. We sell oil and grease and car parts and all this stuff. And so I did that for about 3 years, and I got burned out again. And a guy contacted me from Continental Battery Company. He said, hey, I see, I've heard about you, this and that. You want to come work for me? I said, I don't know, what are you offering? So he offered me what he offered, and he basically gave me from Pleasanton, which is south of San Antonio, down into Mexico. That was my territory. And I said, man, that's a heck of a territory. I mean, that gives me a lot of promise and a lot of area I can cover. And so I did it. And so what I did was every week, 1 week I was up in the Corpus area. Second week I was down here. And I just alternated every week. And I ended up staying right here at the Holiday Inn Express here in McAllen. And it just kind of went from there. And at the same time, ooh, those are fluffy.
Please excuse us, but nom 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 nom.
I had the idea. People started asking for them. Hey, and there were people. I think we talked about this as a small business, and even in outside sales. The first people you hit up is friends and family. Yeah. That get you going. If I can get my whole family wearing my high heat outdoors, then they're going to take it to people, and people are going to ask them. And it's like that even with outside sales. The first people you want to hit up is people people your friends and family. You feel bad about it, but you're like, you need that to spur you on, and that's what I was getting. People asking me to buy them or make them one, and sure, well, what I owe you, $20. Give me $20. Okay, great. And I took that job working down here. I was down here a week, up in Corpus a week, and all of a sudden I started up the Facebook page. And a buddy of mine up in Corpus, I told him, I said, hey, I got a name, I got a product, I need a logo. That's what I need. And he does a lot of graphic stuff. He does a lot of T-shirts and sublimation and things of that nature. And he has his own company, Old Schooler Designs. And I told him what I need, and I said, I have no idea what it should look like. This is the name, this is the product. And he came back with the logo, this logo right here with the braids on it, and and I was like, bro, that's perfect. It's perfect. And I love my product, but this has been the best thing. I get more compliments on the logo than anything. I mean, I'll have people with the dove cord in their hand, and where do you get this logo from? That's pretty cool. I'm like, the dove cord. That's okay. And I'm like, I feel you get lost in a large retail store, an Academy, a Bass Pro. Your product's gonna get lost in there because it's all hunting and outdoor store. It's Ben and I, Ben and we're talking business. We're talking about their new store and the products they're going to carry. They're going to carry Bird Down, and they're going to carry the Rugged Road coolers and all this stuff. And the waitress comes up and she's like, "What is that?" And we're like, well, you don't know what this is? And she's like, is that like a whip or something? They're like, we're like, no.
One of those good guys.
I'm like, you see the metal on the end? No. What are you into? You know, it's like, no. So, you know, it's one of those products that you don't. I think if it was in a large retail outdoor store, you're gonna walk right by it. You're never gonna look at it. It's just gonna be something hanging, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I don't know what that is. You know, whereas if it's in a store that has other things, it's going to catch your eye and you're going to look. And the way we do our display and stuff like that, and we usually tell our vendors, hey, hang one of the little foam decoys, doves, hang it from there so you can see that. And so you get a visual of it, you know. Now, the hunters, the guys that duck hunt, they already know what it is. They see it. They know. Again, they've been using it for hundreds of years, making lanyards, you know. So just recreated the wheel a little bit, just shined it up some. Didn't invent it, just recreated it a little bit. Started getting to the point where I wasn't making enough dove cords to where I needed to get online and start buying material. I could go to Hobby Lobby, but now we have 2 Hobby Lobbies up in our area, and then now I'm coming down here and I'm hitting every Hobby Lobby that's down here, and I'm making wooden things. I'm using epoxy and resin and things, making other products. I think we talked about this last night. I was burned out working. I just wanted to step away, you know. Well, then I'm getting down here and I'm working Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I get done, I go back to the hotel, and, you know, you're in an area that you don't know anybody. I don't know anybody down here. I'm not the go out and get drunk and party every night guy, and you know, so I'd come home, I'd get off work, go have some dinner, and go back to the hotel, and I'm like, man, I'm looking at my Facebook messages, and I have 15 dove cords I need to make and get these out, because you also don't want the customer to be sitting there. They already paid you the $25. You don't want them sitting on it. I wonder if I'm ever going to get that or not. So I've always been real pushy to get the product done and out the door. And now every day, anyone who places an order online, I usually have that cord out, or products, hats, t-shirts, whatever, the next day. It became where, because I was on Facebook, and you start getting into all these Facebook groups, and, you know, dove hunting in South Texas, and Texas dove hunting, and dove hunting in the 956, and, you know, and all these RGV, you know, hunting and low fence hunting and this and that. And you start getting in those groups as your business. People start to, you know, see it, and they start asking, well, you know, how to order. Well, I'm down in McAllen right now. Oh man, I'm in Palm City or Palm Valley or what, you know, or I'm at Palmview, and I'm in Lafayette, I'm in Harlingen, and yeah, I'll meet you wherever. You know, and at the time I was doing outside sales, so I was Laredo to Harlingen to Brownsville up to Raymondville. You know, I was in this whole area every single day. So I'll meet you wherever you want to meet at any time of the day. And so it became where I was selling more of them one-on-one down here in the valley. Just constantly. And it's kind of ironic because it is kind of where this whole thing started, down here in the valley. It's where it started. It's where I was doing it, making them for the most part. It's where the bulk of my beginning customers started. Yet I don't have any vendors down this way.
And with that said, I decided to throw Chris a bone and hit up another Chris in the form of Chris Gallegos from Danny's Pawn Shop in downtown McAllen. It's the right thing to do for a guy that works as hard as Chris, for a product as good as the dove cord. And it's what we gotta do as small business owners, as entrepreneurs. And just maybe, Chris could use his skills that he's picked up over the years from, you know, cold calls and all this stuff to finally lock down a vendor here in the 956. Go get him, big dog.
I gotta get this down. Here we go. Okay, go ahead. PTSD.
So I have such a large case of PTSD from your skeet shoot that we went to, you know, a couple months back. I pride myself on being a very good shooter, okay? It's not that I practice and I put the time, it's just something I've always naturally been able to do. And I get worked up. He can contest to this because he's always wanting to compete against me. And I'm just be honest, he's rarely outshoots me, but he'll throw it out there.
Oh yeah, you challenging me?
Are you challenging me? You know, and so we're at your skeet shoot, and the first round, I think everything was right in front of us. Well, I had this one choke in that I was trying. I'm not going to name the brand because it's another guy that I know, and it's his brand of choke, and it's great for right here. Well, then you started moving these throwers. They're coming from further out, right? Well, the only problem with this choke is that I can't get it out of the gun. It didn't come with a tool. So I've literally, the times that I have done it, I've had to take a pair of channel locks and to get it out.
Shoot.
And I've talked to him about it, and he's like, yeah, I'm working on that. Because it's the type of gun you have, the threads are weird, and once it gets hot, it just locks up in there. So I had no way of changing my choke out at your skeet shoot. So I just blew the rest of the skeet shoot. I mean, I couldn't hit anything.
And I was on fire.
And he's on fire. I
Is that
mean,
when you went with
place?
the other
yes,
guy?
yes. He ends up taking a new partner, and they're tearing it up, winning the, and I'm like,
I was wondering. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know it's hot out here,
Yeah.
but
it shook me for a couple of weeks. I was just like, dude, these people think I can't shoot now.
So, had you ever shot that format before, the Cajun doubles?
No, I
We
don't
didn't
think we
even
have.
know,
Yeah,
because we didn't even know about it. We were trying to.
Yeah, I was
look
like,
it
what's
up on
Cajun doubles?
just
I'm
like,
looking,
what does that
and I'm
mean?
like,
it was fun.
Yeah.
Great game.
But I've bought a tool since where I can, and it's my dove hunting choke, and I just forgot about it. And we got there and started shooting, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm hitting everything. Shoot, by the time you moved those throwers out, I was like, I'm done. So yeah, there was a couple weeks of the cold sweats and laying, and I was in my bed just kind of, no, you're better than this, you're better than this.
It was a great day. Fluffy pancakes, bacon, eggs, great conversation. And I really got to meet Chris on a more personal level. And I wish him the best. And I'm praying for continued growth with the Dove Cord. It's got the potential to just sweep the hunting industry. And really, it's a game changer.
So it's been fun if you take the product out of the way and you take the fantastic logo out of the way. It's been fun just meeting all these people and becoming a platinum lifetime member of the Texas Trophy Hunters Association. And so now my name and the Dove Cord is in that magazine forever. You go in there, number 792 says Chris Ramsey, the Dove Cord. And that's no one may look at that page ever when they get the magazine, but I know it's in there. My kids will know it's in there. Hopefully one day my grandkids will know it's in there. It means something. It really does. And that's what this has been from day one. I just wanted it to mean something. That's it. Really,
Be sure and check out the Dove Cord on all your social media platforms and also at www.thedovecord.com. And be sure to visit us on all of your social media platforms and at puromesquite.com. Special thanks to Chris over at Danny's Pawn and Sporting Goods. Intro music by JSick81.
Well, we're definitely interested. That's for sure. And probably the duck ones too. So I've got a lot of duck hunters now.
Yeah,
I got a lot of people.
It's starting to blow up. It really is. It really is.
So we're definitely interested. I mean, and I've seen these, and I've been wanting to carry them actually. So it's pretty cool.
And
they stopped by.